What's good, everybody? Gamer Critic back with another Why I'm Buying, and today we are talking about Suda51's next big game, Romeo Is a Deadman. So Romeo Is a Deadman is a third-person action-adventure hack-and-slash game being published and developed by Grasshopper Manufacturing, Inc. It is releasing on February 11th, 2026 for the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Why am I buying Romeo Is a Deadman? I wish I had a deeper reason for you for this one. I normally like to beef out my reasoning with videos like this, but honestly, it's as simple as it looks like insanity, which, mind you, is to be expected from Suda51. Now, I can't call myself necessarily the massive Suda51 fan because I sadly have not played all of his games, but I played Lollipop Chainsaw. That was fun. I played the first No More Heroes. That was also very fun. And Killer is 7, Shadows of the Damned, and literally all of Suda51's work. I've watched full-on walkthroughs on YouTube. And watching all that makes me just respect Suda51. Some of my favorite video games of all time are the video games that are just uncompromised. Like the video games that just seem like the developers looked at everything suggested to them and just said yes to all of it. That is what it looks like when I play or see a Suda51 game. Is it over the top? Yes. Is it bizarre? Of course. But along with all that, it is just so unapologetically itself. Now, you just can't help but respect it. All of Suda51's games have that feel of complete over-the-top absurdity packed with sex and violence and blood and gore and weird gameplay and visual choices everywhere. And everything that I have seen in Romeo Is a Deadman gives off the impression that this is going to be the most Suda51 game that Suda51 has ever suited in existence. I mean, even starting with the story. Granted, the story starts off simple enough, I guess. You play as Romeo Stargazer, you find a girl named Juliet just lying in the middle of the road. Circumstances lead to you two deciding to elope, but Romeo is nearly killed by what I can only describe as a white demon and left for dead. But his Uncle Benjamin just so happens to have a magical piece of technology called the Deadman life support system that he thrust into his head, turning him into the undead superhero thing, Deadman. And then after that, things start getting into some space-time continuum nonsense. There's a mystery going on with Juliet, who might be a normal girl or might be a fucking cosmic entity, and you are recruited to join the FBI space-time special agent force. It just goes off the rails from there. But it sounds so unhinged and so insane that it leaves you with that curiosity of you want to figure out what's gonna happen next. I will admit that I am genuinely interested in the mystery of what exactly Juliet is and what Romeo is going to do for this girl that he clearly loves. I'm not expecting this to be an emotional roller coaster, but I do have genuine questions that I want answers to. I have questions with the story, sure. I want to see how the mystery plays out, yes, but I'm interested in the story because it looks ridiculous. It looks like one of those stories that you just hop into to not take it seriously. But between the comedy and the mystery, that alone is enough to get me interested in the story of Romeo Is a Deadman. But everything I just said about the story is really what I'm talking about. There are not many games that just go full creative insanity like Suda51 games usually do. You can look at the combat and especially the visual style for more proof of that. The visual style of Romeo Is a Deadman, from everything that I've seen, is fascinating to me. I swear, there was a trailer that I saw that had 5 or 6 different art styles all at once. Like, when you're doing the actual gameplay, which I'll get to later, it's your typical third-person CGI gore and blood fest, right? But in-game, you're also gonna have a little hub area that's gonna look something like an SNES 16-bit game. The narrative cutscenes are not told in 3D, but are actually told using a comic book style panels, all with the little word bubbles that appear over their heads and everything. You got 2D animation, you got stop motion coming in now and again, it really is just throwing everything to the wall. And from everything that we've seen in the trailers, it looks like it's all going to stick. And then you got the world and the combat. And like I've been saying with everything, just looks completely insane. Romeo Is a Deadman is certainly an action game. The levels in this game are going to be from different timelines. So you're going to be going to different places at different times. You're going to go into a mall that looks like it's set in like maybe the 1940s, 50s. And it's in these linear levels is where you partake in the combat, which from what we've seen looks pretty good. And thankfully, to all the little shorts and videos that Grasshopper has been putting out, they make it clear that you actually do have a lot of choice in the weapons and guns you want to use in combat to attack the time zombies, which is essentially what they are, by the way. They're like time zombies called bastards. That's a whole other thing. But the point is, you got melee combat where Romeo can use swords and large blades, and you got your ranged combat, which can include your automatic guns and projectile firearms. But combat as a whole is described as fast and aggressive, meaning you're not supposed to be on the sidelines. You're not supposed to play defensively. You're supposed to get in there and fuck these things up. But since you have to deal with multiple different types of enemies and bastards, it looks like while combat is fast and fluid, it looks like it also requires tactile movement and weapon choice. Not to mention, you get a really badass ability called Bloody Summer. If you've seen any Suda51 games or played any Suda51 game, you would know that there's a powerful state or special move that comes if you kill a certain amount of enemies at the same time or build up your combat meter to a certain point. Bloody Summer is that ability, and you get some psychedelic color popping all over the place. It looks really, really cool. But like I said, this one is gonna be short because really, combat, story, world, visuals, it really just goes to what I was saying at the top of all this. How many games do you see that look like Romeo Is a Deadman? Romeo Is a Deadman is a game that looks absolutely ridiculous. I don't refute that. But how do you look at a game like Romeo Is a Deadman? A game that is throwing this much at you and not just completely respect it. Romeo Is a Deadman is a game that knows exactly what it is, embracing the sheer ridiculousness of the situation, from the story to the combat to the insane level of visual variety in this game. It looks like a game that is actually taking some risk with its weird ideas and its desire to go full stupid mode with some of its story moments. We just need more games as unapologetic as Romeo Is a Deadman. And as somebody who above all else appreciates and respects originality, weirdness, I look at Romeo Is a Deadman and I just love what I see. Now, again, like I always say, we have to wait and see for the release of the game. I could be absolutely wrong, but I also just have to respect Romeo Is a Deadman for looking like a game we really don't see very often anymore. All that is more than enough for me to say I am very interested to play Romeo Is a Deadman. And thankfully, we do not have to wait too much longer when it releases on February 11th. And that's why I'm buying Romeo Is a Deadman. My next video, I've been playing some Code Vein 2. I'd like to get at least 30 or 35 hours into it, and then I'm going to make an impressions video just to let you guys know what I think, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'm also gonna make one more why I'm buying for Reanimal. I'll keep you guys posted on all that. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. It helps a ton. If you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, you can follow me on Instagram. That's @TheGamerCritic. Be good people, and I will talk to all of you very soon. All right, peace.